Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Coast-to-Coast Combat Hour, brought to you by AllAccessMMA.com. I'm your host, Matthew Hawkins, and as always, I'm joined by my good friend and co-host, Ed Carbajal. Ed, how you doing, man?
Hot as balls, and we actually got some of yours and Canada smoke over here in Jersey from all the wildfires going on. So
Yeah, luckily I don't have any much of those around me yet, but it's just a matter of time. So, anyways, we've had a guest last week or two, so we haven't had a chance to catch up on some stuff and kind of go through the future events and some of the stuff from the past weekend. But one of the big news to kind of come out over the last, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 days is that I didn't miss International Fight Week. I thought the 10-year streak was over, but
yeah.
no. The UFC was apparently listening to our podcast and my bitching and moaning, and it looks like now UFC 266 September 25th will be the conclusion of the 2021 International Fight Week in Las Vegas, which looks like it'll run now September 21st through 25th. Autograph sessions, Hall of Fame, press conferences, weigh-ins, and hopefully a return to some of the fun entertainment that made International Fight Week such a destination for animal fight fans like you and I.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like September's a bad time for it though. Like late September, people are got to put their kids back in school and yada yada yada. I mean, you know what I mean? Like I honestly thought that.
So you're telling me there might be less crowds and the temperature is going to be 20 degrees less? Thumbs effing up. but yeah, I don't think this is something that they're going to follow through with year by year. But I think the July event was just too quick to try to pull off without knowing what was going to happen. And heck, we don't know what's going to happen in September.
I mean, because I know they did that howler head thing. I mean, you and I were both, just if we backtrack a few episodes, you and I were both under the impression that they were just kind of like, not going to do an International Fight Week because of coming, where we are with COVID. I don't want to say coming out of it because who knows where the hell we are with that anymore. But, it's like that, like you and I were talking about it a lot, even after we were done recording. You sent me pictures of how we were talking about how International Fight Week ain't what it used to be. And then, it's like the, I don't know, like this kind of came out of nowhere. The email shot out that where I got that image from kind of shot out while the ESPN event was going on Saturday or Sunday or whenever the news came out. And I don't recall them talking about it a lot when it happened. But, the bombardment of commercials we got, I fast forwarded. I wound up stopping before the co-main event so I can watch it, without so many commercials. But I just feel like it's like, okay, you're gonna do this now. Like I don't understand. I don't know.
I mean, I just think it's just a delay, and I think that they want to get back to some kind of original schedule. I have a feeling it'll go back to July next year. That would make the most sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed to be a popular time, 4th of July, right around 4th of July. Always made it a nice trip to Vegas if the dates coincided correctly. But we know the UFC is not, well, I don't know how much money they make on the because the expos are free. They don't charge like they used to, but
they're also not what they used to be.
No. They're 1/5 or they're not even they're 10% of what they used to be.
Yeah.
So we know that, but and depending on the setup, I don't know how involved I'm going to be in trying to do stuff, but just that it's coming back is cool. It's a refreshing thing to see. When I first heard about it, it really wasn't until like your retweet or your tweet and maybe one other person's that I even believed it. I thought it was just wording, because I think I saw it from the UFC, a tweet or something where it just said, Fight Week is back, and I was kind of like, okay, like is this the is this just, are we just using words now? And then I saw the picture you tweeted out, and
so let me just read off. I'm going to read off the stuff that's supposed to be on it, just so fans, kind of have an idea. I mean, I kind of went over this through when I did Sunday submission for MMAnews.com, but I actually mentioned you a lot because you're like, you're if anybody knows International Fight Week front, back, through and all through, it's you, because you've been to all of them.
Yeah.
So let me just read it through. So they announced it. What's the date on this? July 17th. So that's already a few days ago. So prestigious UFC 2020 UFC Hall of Fame induction ceremony will be Thursday, September 23rd. Honor specific achievements athletes and sport mixed martial arts. The September 24th, Saturday, and September 25th, fans will be able to take part in the easily accessible, fully interactive, free 2-day UFC fan experience that'll feature meet and greets, autograph sessions, partner activations that provide unprecedented access to UFC champions, top-ranked contenders, Hall of Famers, and other UFC personalities. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, we'll see.
They haven't started as the 21st, so I don't see anything listed for the 21st. So I guess maybe they're going to add more stuff for that week.
Well, what day is the 21st? The 21st is Tuesday. Is that the open workout day? Like that's kind of what they can like. So Tuesday will be open workouts. Wednesday will be press conference.
Yeah.
Or Wednesday will be press conference. Thursday will probably be Hall of Fame. Yeah, I don't. However, they got it worked out because they Hall of Fame's Thursday, right? It's not Friday.
Yeah,
it says it's okay.
It's Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's probably how it worked. Or the press. I'm trying to remember because last year.
Yeah.
Not last year, but the last fight week. I think there was you went to the press conference and then you went.
Yeah, the last good one that I went to. I mean, I went to 2015, 2016. And it was the press conference was Thursday and the weigh-ins were Friday, and then I think they had like some open workout stuff that Wednesday. So maybe they're going to announce all that stuff as we get nearer. It could be too early too, like with everything we're talking about. I mean, I literally just tweeted out before we started recording that they just lost due to COVID protocols. They just lost a fight for this coming Saturday's Apex card. So it could be too early to start announcing a bunch of things. So maybe as we near September, you'll have more to do. I don't know if what your schedule, if you're going to make all the days or whatever, if it's even worth it. But we've talked about it at length how it's not this ain't the deal that the Fertitas used to throw down at, where it was like a freaking week-long party. And you were going to I remember what's the weird hotel with the. I remember they emptied out the pool. I have a picture of Wyclef that I took laying next to Wyclef, where we got attacked by women, and my girlfriend at the time yanked me out of it. But I have a picture of the view where Wyclef is getting. I mean, is
that the old Hard Rock? Is that when they had it at the Hard Rock pool?
No, what the hell is the name of that place? It caught fire the following year. Oh shoot! It's like a weird. They used to have weird commercials where people walking dogs in the lobby, and Jesus, I gotta look at a map.
I don't know. I don't know, but no. Right now I'm Thursday through Sunday, so I'm looking at. I don't the press conference, open workouts, all that stuff's not necessarily high on my list necessary, but the Hall of Fame's fun. I went to my first one 2 years ago, so that was enjoyable. And then obviously I'll do the weigh-ins and then the fight event and at least one of the days of fan things. We'll see how that goes and who's their meet.
The Cosmopolitan. That's where they drained.
There you go, the Cosmo. Yeah, that's they held the Invicta event there. 2015.
Yeah. That's the one. They emptied out the pool. Paige Van Zandt emceed the party. Wyclef was a surprise guest. And hey, one of your boys is saying what's up on the podcast. Luke Lopez, who's also a loyal watcher, listener, critic of MMAnews.com Sunday Submission.
Love it. Representing Cali.
Yeah, but yeah, they drained that pool out, and it was a good time. I had some drink where they put some flour or something in it that got you high. And I had 10 of those. I don't even remember how I got to my hotel room, but that's how awesome it used to be.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it. It gives me something to plan for it. And I was planning on going to the event anyway, but this extra stuff adds a little bit of and it makes it fun. Who knows? We'll see what they pull off and what they're
Mhm.
able to do. And I would love a Friday night event. You give me a
Yeah.
Friday night event, and I'm all in. I don't care. Give me an LFA event. Give me a contender series at the Cosmo or something
Or
you
maybe
know.
another grappling thing like they did the
There you
Uriah
go,
Faber quintet. I forget what the name of that's
quintet.
called. Yeah, they did
Yeah,
a quintet. That's right. They did
they
do a
did a
quintet one year.
quintet, and then Faber had the one called. I don't even remember what his event was called any longer. But
Quintet ripoff.
yeah, exactly. Um, but yeah, so that's end of September. For fans that are interested, tickets go on sale next week to the general public on Friday. Newsletter is Thursday, and I believe the Fight Club pre-sale is Wednesday. And if you know anybody in the UFC, message them and get your ticket orders in as soon as possible if that's the way you go. So that's to look forward in the future. This past weekend we had it was a fun fight night card. Not going to break down the whole thing, but a few obvious fights of note was the co-main event of pull it up
Misha
here.
Tate.
Misha Tate and Marion Renault. Retirement fight for Renault, 44-year-old who probably fought above her ability for the last few years and
Mm.
really gained some notoriety and a place in the history of the UFC just as a solid top 10 competitor in the women's bantamweight division. So she suffered a loss. Misha Tate
Yeah.
looked great in her return, but again, props to Renault on a fun, exciting career, and hopefully she enjoys her retirement.
Yeah. I
Uh,
don't know. What do you think? I feel like it was two things happening there. You know, it was her retirement and Misha Tate's return. And I almost feel like Misha Tate's return, of course, she won. I feel like that overshadowed her retirement. But I also like one of the things when I was watching that fight, I was just kind of like, does that, you know, Dana White always says if retirement is on your mind, you should probably always, the
mhm.
retirement's going to come. So I'm wondering if that affected how she fought. You know, like did we really see? I mean, I know Misha Tate picked up a win, but did we really see, like a game Misha Tate? I mean, a reset Misha Tate. Just because she beat a woman that was going to fight her last fight anyway. You know what
Maybe,
I mean?
yeah. I mean, the story will definitely be told in Misha's next fight, but just from a view, she was in great shape.
Mm-hmm.
Fought a smart fight. Fought the way that we became successful. Takedowns, ground and pound. You know, that was what made her. That was what made her a name in the sport. So it'll be interesting to see. My biggest takeaway is A, she's been gone 5 years, and
Mm-hmm.
B, I didn't realize she was only 34 years old.
Yeah.
It never. If you would have asked me how old she was when she retired 5 years ago, I would have guessed she was 34 then.
Mm.
And maybe it's just because in my mind she's been around forever and one of the kind of the earlier pioneers of big time women's
No,
MMA.
yeah, no, I thought she was young when I mean, I thought she was too young to retire. I mean, I kind of saw it as more of a mental frustration why she walked away, just with everything going on. I remember her arguing with her then boyfriend in the cage at her last fight. Like, kind of, you could hear the it wasn't meant to be heard, but the camera caught. Like, she was like, "No, I'm done. I'm done." And it was just, it looked like more frustration. Maybe she had a lot of personal things going on. She's probably in a better spot now. She's always never been far from the sport. I said this on Sunday too. Like, she's coached a few fighters that fought at Combate Global, and all the work she's done with one championship. I forget what her title is. Do you remember what her position is there? But I think she still does that too.
She was like a public relations.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't even know the exact word, but yeah, she worked for like the public relations. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you would know better about the insides and outs of that. But like you said, she has been around. Her name
Mm-hmm.
didn't disappear from the news. I think she did some podcasts and stuff. She kept her name around. So my main thing was how in shape and muscle tone she looked, and just her attitude. Everything
Yeah.
seems like it's lining up,
Yeah.
and maybe Rhonda not being around anymore mentally is nice. I'm fishing now, but I'm just
Yeah.
thinking that like you're certain roadblocks of your career kind of out of the way. If she fights Nunes now, she's going to be
Mm-hmm.
the underdog, so some of the pressure's not there. It really and the style she used is the way, in theory, to beat Amanda Nunes. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, in theory, that's the way you beat her. Is the only way you beat her is to get her down. You're not going to outstrike Amanda Nunes, especially Misha Tate's not going to,
Yeah.
and Juliana Pena is not going to. I think the Pena fight, who Pena was kind of a like she was kind of mentored by Misha Tate, and I think she even coached her on The Ultimate Fighter, and it seemed like she kind of has the same kind of style. So win or lose, that actually could be a little bit of a roadmap to see where Nunes is at as far as a potential rematch with Tate. So it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds. But big win for Tate, and then an even bigger one in the main event for Islam Makhachev, who fought Thiago Moises.
I know they're talking about him like he's the second coming of Khabib because of that, since that fight.
Yeah, I mean, I think people are jumping the gun, but 20-1 record, same pedigree, same fight camp. Hell, Khabib's his coach. I get it. It makes sense to me. I like it. I like it because it adds that intrigue. And if you know, imagine if Khabib passes the torch off to a teammate. We just lost Ed there. I
was playing with something.
He's just checking stuff out. But you know, I mean, you want to talk about a legacy, a Khabib legacy. If he's able to pass the torch and coach the next lightweight champion, would be almost a bigger feather in his cap than if he won another 3 or 4 fights. I mean, he has a chance to now establish himself as a great coach, and his country as the pinnacle of MMA especially in the lightweight division. But I mean, between the two of them, were there 59-1? I mean, you start talking pretty damn good duo in the MMA world. So we'll see how that unfolds. He moved up to number 5 in the rankings, so he's kind of in a spot now.
I didn't even check him today. I'm glad you did.
Yeah, he moved to 5. I think the only people ahead of him are Chandler, Gaethje, Oliveira, and Poirier. So
so apparently him and Gaethje they're under the same management team, but Gaethje doesn't seem to care about that. Somebody tweeted a photo where Gaethje was kind of eyeballing him, and I thought it was funny because Gaethje's such a maniac that he seems to want to fight, and the UFC doesn't want him to fight. I don't understand what's going on.
It is pretty wild that we're already booked out now into September with that fight week card, and there's still no Justin Gaethje fight booked. So either he's kind of not necessarily wanting to fight, and
they've had him tied to everyone from Conor to Michael Chandler, who just got there, and it's you know, so we already got Poirier, Oliveira. Dana White already said it, that's the fight that's going to happen. And then even at that post-fight press conference when Conor lost with his broken leg, you know, he's already booking Poirier McGregor for you know, a year from now or whenever his leg's supposed to be better. And it's like, what about Justin Gaethje? He's sitting right there, probably foaming at the teeth to fight something. You know?
Yeah. You know, that's the thing. McGregor dropped down to 9, so he's a fight away from almost dropping out of the rankings if he loses again. And you know, who knows how long he's going to be out. So, although the way he's talking, who the heck knows? But we'll see. But yeah, I think Chandler Makhachev would be a good fight. Gaethje would also.
He called him out. He called him out on Saturday too.
Yeah, no, it makes sense, and stylistically, it's a good fight because you would find out if Makhachev is able to get the takedown, because that seems to be his obvious recipe to win. I can't recall on the top of my head, and maybe he's had it, but I don't remember him winning stand-up fights yet. So it'll be interesting to see if he fights somebody who has the strength and the takedown defense, the Chandler, and if he's able to how that scramble and how that would go down. But big win for him. He moves up and is in the headlines now, and now he's top 5 ranked. So you can't dodge somebody once they really get into the top 5. If you want to make a name for yourself, you have to fight him. And you know, the guy, Dan Hookers and stuff, like those fights doesn't really interest me. I think he takes Dan Hooker down and ends that fight fairly quickly. That's not the fight I would make, but the Chandler Gaethje fights are definitely, or even the loser of Poirier and Oliveira interests me.
There's no title on the line for that or whatever, but that's definitely pay-per-view worthy. Chandler Gaethje, just to me, in my opinion, Gaethje was even though he didn't want to wear it the interim, you know what I mean? Like he's always been right there. He's always right there circling the title, and it just seems like they keep pushing the poor guy away.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. You would think that they wouldn't want to let that flame expire with
Mhm.
how famous and how loved and how it's been a long time now. Is his last fights the
The Khabib,
Nurmagomedov, the Khabib
yeah.
fight? So we're we're
It's
a
like,
long
what are you
ways off.
doing? Yeah, and
Yeah,
I mean, not for nothing, he lost by submission, so like he's got to be ready to go. And I know he voiced his concern when, because he was the one that put it out there that they told him he was fighting Chandler, and then they got this everything else happened. So I mean, it would have been nice. It would have been nice if we could have gotten. I have a feeling we would have gotten a similar outcome if he had fought in Connor. But I think Connor probably knew that too.
yeah, no, I think so. I mean, yeah.
Connor's not trying to fight any maniacs like Ferguson and Gaethje. You know what I mean? Like,
No. I think the Marcus Brimmages of the world are about ready to enter into his into his fight camps again.
yeah.
So that was that. That was last weekend. Oh, we also had the Bellator event on Friday night, headlined by Juliana Velasquez, who was the 11-0 champion at flyweight in Bellator. She fought Denise Kielholtz,
yeah.
former Glory women's kickboxing champion. Velasquez moves.
And if isn't there Bellator kickboxing still, because she's held that belt. Like,
I don't know if Bellator kickboxing exists anymore. I mean,
it would have been interesting if she won, but
I'd like to see him bring it back, but I think we're moving on a couple years now without an event. So I don't know if that exists. I don't know if Showtime's into that market or not, or what Showtime wants to do with that. But I'd like to see Showtime sign Glory. Now that I think about it, let's just move Bellator kickboxing out of the way and start having a whole little Showtime fight, organization.
They could do it if they want to. I mean, they're still marketing everything correctly. Like they push their boxing during Bellator fight nights and Bellator stuff during their boxing broadcasts. So they're doing everything way, way, way better than DAZN ever did.
Yeah, no, I agree. DAZN was a failure on multiple levels.
But
Velasquez picks up a big win. She moves to 12-0.
What'd you think of that fight? I mean, I honestly, it was a split decision win for her, and I kind of thought I don't want to call it backpedaling because that seems like I'm diminishing what she did when she fought. She used her jab really effectively, but she was walking backwards. So I was actually thinking she was going to lose the fight because of that. Because generally, you know how it goes. If you're not doing anything that seems aggressive to these judges,
the ring generalship.
Yeah, exactly. Ring generalship. Shout out to Joe Correa from Front Proof Media. But yeah, the ring generalship. You know what I mean? But it looked like her. I mean, not for nothing, she won that off of her jab. To me, like it was like her reach that won her that fight.
I think she fought the way that is smart for her to win. I had it really close. I kind of felt like I was leaning Kielholtz, but I was kind of rooting for her going into the fight. So I might have been giving her a round that was really close. I'm not afraid to say that could have happened, but I thought it was 3-2 either fighter. So to me, it's not a robbery. I think Kielholtz is a win or two, maybe a win, maybe not even a win. We might have a rematch depending on what happens in some of the contenders fights over the next thing. But no, I mean, I thought it was an entertaining fight. I thought it was good, it was refreshing coming off of the chaos of the co-main event, which seems like it's now become is there any fighter more cursed in this world than Matt Mitrione? I mean, you go to his eye gouge. Didn't he have the terrible eye gouge?
What's this guy's name? What's this guy's name with the belly that rubs his belly? I can't.
Big Country.
Big Country. Roy Nelson. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I mean, he might be I used to think Roy Nelson just had bad luck in Mohegan Sun, but I mean, it looks like it's just them. Might be the two. They might be tied.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, Roy Nelson has the curse of, like you said, Mohegan, but I mean, didn't Travis Brown basically touch his brain when he friggin' stuck his, didn't he have a giant hematoma over his eye? I remember he got jacked up there. He had the kidney stones against Fedor. He had he had the nut shot against Karatanov, and
Yeah.
now he's had 2 fights in a row that have ended after being headbutted. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't
He
know.
went nuts afterwards. Yeah, and
I
I
don't
can't
blame
blame
him.
him. Yeah.
But you know what? As somebody who's watched MMA as much as I have, and maybe you can answer this, I honestly don't know the protocol for what happened in the Fortune fight on Friday. It was unintentional.
Hmm.
It was a guy shooting for a takedown. One may argue that part of it was because of Mitrione. Mitrione may have caused the connection. One could argue. I more lean towards the guy diving in head first. Is the guy kind of responsible for making sure
Hmm.
his head doesn't clash? But I don't know what that. I don't know what that is. Do you break the fight up? Is it an
But
unintentional?
here's the thing. The thing is, you have to look. I mean, they asked Fortune about it afterwards, and I mean, he was just like, I didn't even feel it. I was trying to run through him and get him on the ground, and not for nothing. Like a lot of guys that for MMA, especially with takedowns, they train, my instructor included. They tell you you want to put your head, in the chest, and you could if you watch the replay. And I'm not trying to listen. I feel for Matt Mitrione. I like the guy. He's great interview, great, great dude all around,
Mm-hmm.
funny as hell. Messed around with the dudes in Flow, and they used to freaking prank each other during fight week and stuff like that. So I love Matt Mitrione, but he did your reaction to trying to stop a takedown. You can't help but lower your head. It's an accident. It's just an accident, and I honestly I don't know,
But
man.
I guess my question is, and I'm not blaming Tyrell Fortune at all. I don't think he's to blame at all. My question is that should that be treated the same way as an accidental eye poke or an
Mm,
accidental grind shot? Like, do you and I'm trying to remember, and I don't know if that's if you stop it for an accidental clash of
mm,
heads, or if that's just considered part of the action.
mm,
Because like you really wouldn't want to punish Fortune for getting the takedown, but at the same time, is a clash of heads like that? Is it legal?
to
Like,
like stop it and let him recover from the
correct. Do you treat it like an accidental foul? Because the opposite's an intentional headbutt, and you
Mhm,
obviously would stop it, just like an
mhm.
unintentional eye poke or an intentional anything
I don't
else.
know. It's a good
So
question. I mean, probably John McCarthy's podcast will address it since he's someone that understands all that stuff a little more. I don't know if we could ask Matt Marsden. I mean, he's a cut man. I'm not sure if he's that adept in the rules since this thing is more just making hand wrapping and uh, you know
yeah, no, and
taking cuts.
I think it just sped up the inevitable. I think Tyrell
Mm.
Fortune was probably we the one thing we've learned about Matt Mitrione is he just doesn't have great takedown defense. I mean we
Yeah, no, that was a smart move for that fight. I mean, because Fortune did that because Mitrione was going to start kicking at his
Mhm.
midsection using his reach. That was a smart move.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, man. I just
It's
like you
bad
said.
luck. It's a sad ending to a potentially a sad ending to a high profile MMA career of Matt Mitrione. I mean, you think about how long the dude's been around now, and he goes back forever into the
Yeah,
UFC. He's been one of the a good soldier for Bellator, to put it, I
yeah.
guess, in good terms. But I understand why they had to let him go. He's on a long losing streak now, and he probably gets paid a decent amount of money. And I wonder where he goes. I mean, Matt Mitrione and bare knuckle might hurt some people. So I'd be
Hey,
interested.
that's not a bad call. I mean, especially if they seem to have endless amounts of money.
Mhm.
Maybe, I mean, especially maybe if he doesn't want to, if that left such a bad taste in his mouth with the officiating and all the stuff that happened, maybe that's where he does go. But the PFL is always nice to try to make $1 million if he's trying to jump in for next 2022.
I just
Um,
don't know if PFL is going to sign a guy on a 5-fight lose streak to put him in their tournament. I mean, maybe they will. Maybe they'll give him a fight to kind of like one of those qualifying fights, like
mhm.
or warm up fight or whatever, however they want to label it. I feel like they've done that with a few of their big name signs. So I don't know, but and maybe he doesn't need the money, and maybe he'll. But I think anything where he can be taken down at this point of his career is probably not going to end
Mm.
in a 3-fight win streak and $1 million.
Yeah, maybe you're right. I mean, he'd be problems. I think he's problems for a lot of people in bare knuckle.
In bare knuckle, he's scary. In bare
Yeah,
knuckle, I want no part of that guy in bare knuckle. But
yeah.
I wonder also how much, if that's where he wants to go with his career, or if he just wants to fade away or if he wants to work on broadcast. I mean, who knows? But
Mhm.
obviously, like you said, the guy's been a class act from day one. When the few moments I've had to speak to him, nowhere near what your experience is as a media member, as just a fan, just approaching him and him actually giving me 2 minutes of his time
Mhm.
to chat and be friendly and shake your hand and talk. And like, that's the cool stuff that I really appreciate from these athletes is when they don't know me from anybody, they don't have to be respectful to me.
Mhm.
You know, in theory, your media, they kind of should be respectful to you because you can expose that since it's on video or, it's recorded. Whereas me, he could easily just give me the finger and
Yeah,
tell
he
me to get out of.
actually. I'm sure you caught that clip. I mean, he actually exposed some green media member that tried to come at him with some negativity with first question out of the box, which is like, dude, like, see, you don't do that. I mean, first
Yeah.
of all, he was wrong with the information, and then Matt Mitrione like let him have it too. So he just seems to be a straight up solid guy. And yeah, I was hoping to see some sort of interview or something with him. I remember watching Roy Nelson walk out of the Mohegan Sun Arena the last time he lost there before COVID, and I was there to cover an event. Just watching him go up the escalator, watching us do interviews, and I'm watching him go up the interview, and I'm just like, Jesus, this guy just got bad luck. And
Mm-hmm.
they had a shot of Mitrione walking out, on Showtime with him yelling and cursing. And he's even saying, he's like, that's two in a row, headbutts.
No, it's
And I'm
rough.
just, yeah, it's bad.
How about Roy Nelson versus Matt Mitrione and BKFC?
Hey, I
Hey,
mean,
I'd watch.
that would draw. That definitely would draw. You know
you
what I
know,
mean?
yeah. So yeah, that's it. That was obviously the bad luck, but Bellator's next event is next week, so we will be jumping into that as we got the mega
Yeah,
all-time supreme Bellator fight of all time. So we'll
yeah.
talk about that next week. But this upcoming weekend, there is some action still. It's not what was it, Knucklemania, but we got BKFC 19 this time, headlined by the great Paige Van Zant versus the great Retro Ostovich in a true clash of titans.
Oh yeah, that's this weekend. I forgot.
And you want to talk about I mean, I've praised BKFC enough here. I understand they have their downfalls and stuff, but I'm watching. I'll be there. I'm subscribed again, watching. That's the main event. Britton Hart, who beat Paige Van Zant in the
Yeah.
co-main. This is kind of where like you get that, not quite a sport yet, but we're gonna act like it is when you have the person who beat the person in the co-main event, in the last time in the main event, now fighting in the co-main. But Britton Hart is competing. Arnold Adams, the inaugural heavyweight champion, is back. He's fighting Mick Terrell, who I don't know a whole lot about, but looks like a dangerous foe in the videos I've watched. So, those three fights alone, you headlined by two women's fights,
I
which
wonder
is,
what kind of numbers it's going to do. I mean, people have been looking forward to this one. You know what I mean? Like the real fight fans have been looking forward to this since we heard they signed him. It was one of the first fights. They didn't even have to announce that it was going to happen because we knew that's the one you got to make. They got history, the two of them.
yeah, no, I mean, and I think Paige said it best. What'd she say? Like, come for the boobies and stay for the violence or something like that. I mean, I just think it's fun fight. Sure, we're gonna watch a couple of girls beat each other up, but it's for fun. This
I'm favoring Van Zandt just because she's already been in there. We saw in the last fight how she kind of maybe she was getting getting used to the whole cycle of a BKFC camp and then going to the fight. She did better closer to the end. I think this one she's got, just because of that one fight, she's probably coming in with more, more furiosa and just the seniority and already having felt the bare knuckles, traded hands, been inside the circular ring. I think she might have some edges on Ostovich.
I mean, I've said it since the first day I've watched BKFC and especially watched the first one in person. It's a different sport. This is not MMA. This is not boxing. It's a whole different level of combat. So it is. She does have that. That advantage is huge. I don't know if you train getting punched bare knuckle. So until you actually do, you got to see how the reaction is. So we're going to find out how Ostovich reacts to multiple bare knuckle shots to the face. And on top of that, Paige kind of has to win this fight. If she goes 0-2, knowing apparently what she's making, I don't know how much Feldman and BKFC continue to give her that high of a paycheck without knowing the numbers behind the scenes, as far as how many people are tuning in. But just from a credibility standpoint, you go 0-2, you start to, you lose a lot of that momentum. She might fight again, but she's not headlining. All of a sudden, she's down, opening the card against a straight up scrub just to get her name a win is probably where it would go from here. Or she's going to quit. I mean, I don't know how many. I don't know, but I do think she wins. I think you're right. I think that experience will pay dividends in this fight. Plus, she knows now that she has to turn it up. She knows that maybe she can't come out slow. There's a lot of things that go into that. But my biggest confusion with BKFC is why we're pushed to buy it on the Fight app. If anybody's listening and is going to watch this, you can order it on the BKFC app for like $3.99, and maybe it's $9.99 for the first month, or you can pay for a month and it's like $10. But there is no reason for anybody to spend $39.99 on Fight TV app to watch it. For some reason, BKFC doesn't promote that. For some reason, nobody promotes that. Tapology only has it listed as
actually their Fight has a marketing thing going on that if you order it through them for $39.99, they're sending you a BKFC t-shirt.
Well, that's cool. I mean, I guess that's something, but they should give a year's subscription, since a year's subscription is like $40. Might make more sense to me. I just think if BKFC were to push their app, they might have a lot more eyes. Obviously, at $3.99 price point, they're not trying to get rich. It's obviously a plan to try to at least get people interested to watch.
Maybe that's why. I mean, maybe they just want to make some pay-per-view revenue, like some real revenue.
Maybe you're right. It's a 10-to-1 rate, so there is that. But I'm not into that. I want to tell the fans that anybody interested, you can watch it for $5. Like so, and that's every pay-per-view they have is on the app up until this point. So, I look forward to it. I get super excited for Bare Knuckle these days. Artem Lobov is actually fighting Bare Knuckle in Russia on Saturday morning on a $9.99 pay-per-view on the Fight app. Might actually order that one, especially after I saw Kaposa post online that it looks like they have to wear jeans and they're in a pit surrounded by hay. So
yeah, that's weird.
That's Russia. That's Russian Bare Knuckle fighting. And I might check that out. But yeah, that's BKFC this Friday night. Saturday, we roll into a UFC card on, let me see what ESPN. Looks like we got an ESPN card here. And boy, it's headlined by a return of a fighter that a lot of people may have forgotten about. One of my favorite fighters in the bantamweight division over history, a guy who failed his last fight was a drug test failure. TJ Dillashaw, the former kind of, some people might have thought even the GOAT one time at 135, or at least trending that way. He fights Corey Sandhagen, who's on a massive run of his own with some brutal, violent finishes. Tough fight for Dillashaw to return to. I'll tell you that after what?
It's hard to pick him with everything. I mean, the ring rust and everything else that happened. I already submitted my Tapology picks. I'm picking Sandhagen to win that, just because I just think he might need it's his first one back, so I just feel like the first one back with everything going on, it looks like he might be carrying a lot of stress into the fight too, just trying to get over the history.
Yeah, I'd like to see him win. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm not super. I'm realistic.
It's a pretty stacked card, though. I mean, it's almost better than the one they did last weekend. When you look at it, I mean, you got the Aspen Ladd, Macy Chiasson, even the prelims. The prelims, you got Sajara Eubanks on there versus Elise Reed, Julio Arce versus Andre Ewell, Randy Costa versus Adrian Yanez, which is they got that whole Reese's versus Dr. Pepper thing going that Nolan King did a whole bit about on the MMA Junkie. It's pretty cool. I like this card.
Yeah, the fight that jumps out at me, and I did not know it on it, is Macy Barber and Miranda Maverick. I didn't know Barber was back, so that's good to see. That she's returning from her knee surgery. That's a hell of an opponent in Maverick to have to take on in that return. So we got between Barber and Dillashaw, we got a couple of the people that were well, I mean, Dillashaw was at the pinnacle, but a lot of people thought Macy Barber was going to be the next big thing. So we'll see how she rebounds from her injury and being dominated by Roxanne Modafferi.
Is this her first fight back? No. Is it from the injury? I don't think so.
Oh no!
No,
you're right. She lost to Grasso, so she hasn't looked good in her last 2 fights. That was UFC 258. So was it 12? Yeah, so actually not that long ago. So I'm wrong, but she didn't get a win. Now it's even more important. Now that I see she's on a 2-fight losing streak, that actually even ups the ante a little bit more.
That's a tough fight. That's a tough fight to come back to try to get off a losing streak against Miranda Maverick's. No joke.
No, I think there's going to be some blood spilled in that fight.
That might be fight at a night contender. I mean, they're probably going to get 50K.
Yeah, when Darren Elkins is on your card, you probably you better bring some plasma to the fight if you're if you're gonna outduel him for a bonus.
This is really good. I mean, I'm glad it's on ESPN.
Yeah, no, it's makes for
regular
a fun
ESPN.
Regular ESPN now.
Not increased price ESPN Plus. That's gone up another $1 for.
Yep, they're gonna. They're going to force some action out of some people here. Yeah. They keep raising that price.
Yeah.
But, I mean, fun weekend, man.
I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah. It's too bad we don't have I guess there was an LFA event last Sunday, and I saw a lot of people commenting. I think
Friday and Sunday from Brazil, yeah.
God, give me an organization again like WEC that does Sundays, and we're set. If we could do, in a perfect world, BKFC Bellator Fridays, UFC Saturdays, and some other organization on Sundays, we'd be back to the glory days of MMA. So we'll see, but it's hard to go against your pick of Sandhagen. I kind of my that's where my brain tells me to go, even though my heart wants to root for Dillashaw. But I think it's gonna be an exciting week. So I think that kind of wraps us up here we prepare for next week, big Bellator event and the first Cage Warriors event in the United States in San Diego. So have a couple of events.
Fun too.
Yeah, I got a couple things to look forward to in a week and a half. But until then, again, check out our podcast at allaccessmma.com. That will give you links to our video. Our audio podcast is available through Anchor and most places that podcasts are available. Follow me, Matthew Hawkins, at MMAHawk21 on Twitter and Instagram. Check out the show at Combat Hour on Twitter, Coast-to-Coast Combat Hour on Instagram. And follow Ed Carbajal at Carbazol on Twitter, Carbeerzol on Instagram, and Old Head Carb on Twitch. Ed, look forward to chatting with you over the weekend as the Knuckles fly on Friday, and then we get the return of the Snake Dillashaw on Saturday.
All right. Later.
Later.